boys and girls, chicos y chicas, niños y niñas. I am yours truly, Ricky Ricardo. I'm just playing. But it is me, Ricky, and I'm here with you on P-Stars Radio. Time is now 10:40, and as always, I'm excited and happy to be here. Glad to see another day. Glad to be here with all of you, and I hope that you are glad to be here with me, as I'm glad to be here with you. A little bit later than usual, how I start my shows, but better late than never, right? But like I would do with all my other shows, I would like to ask, how are you all doing so far? How's life been? How's work been? School? So on and so forth. Are you taking care of are you taking care of your mental, physical, and your spiritual health? Because I truly hope that you are doing so, because these are things that you should be worried about as they pertain to your health, right? Your body, your consciousness. So I do truly hope that you're doing what is necessary to taking care of these things as much as possible, right? And so I would like to ask again: Are you taking care of your mental, physical, and your spiritual health? If so, and you don't know what steps that you can take to manage these things, well, look no further. Fret not, worry not, for I have the solutions for you. Now, the number one solution into managing these things as much as possible is, one, always go to God in prayer. Seek Him in prayer. Ask Him for His assistance, His guidance, His help, and He will surely help you. He will help you. Just go to God in prayer and ask Him for the assistance. Because again, without Him, we cannot do anything on our own. So I do encourage you to go to God in prayer first before all else. But another solution also could be, for other people, it could be working out. For other people, it could be cooking, cleaning, right? And speaking to a friend or somebody that you can trust in regards to managing your mental, your physical, and your spiritual health. And like I always like to encourage, please be sure about who it is you're talking about your situations with, because you don't want to speak with just anybody about your situation. You want to speak with somebody that you can ultimately trust. Trust to keep your business between you and that person, and to not broadcast it out to the entire world for everybody to know. For your business is not everybody else's business, right? So you want to make sure that you're speaking to somebody who you ultimately trust, all right? So that's that for that, right? That's that for that. And I would like to jump right into the NBA Finals or at least update towards the NBA Finals. And it seems as though the Oklahoma City Thunders has officially secured a spot for the western side of the NBA, so which they will be going to the NBA Finals, the OKC Thunder. So congratulations to them. They did a tremendous sweep of the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? And they will now be waiting to see who from the East will be advancing into the NBA Finals. And the East is left with the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Those are your final two teams for the East. And we'll be waiting to see who will come out on top, to see who will advance into the NBA Finals. Now, I believe we're going into Game 5, if I'm not mistaken, or Game 6. Yeah, we're going into Game 6. Sorry, Game 6 of the matchups between the Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. Now, depending on how things turn out tonight, this could end up being the Indiana Pacers advancing into the finals if they end up defeating the New York Knicks, or this could end up going all the way to Game 7 for that matchup if the New York Knicks win, right? So there's obviously two possibilities of how this could end for tonight's matchup, but that's what it's looking like so far for the Indiana Pacers. Yeah, the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Now, for the Thunders, I would like to break down what it's looking like so far with the stat, almost like a breakdown of what could have possibly gotten the OKC Thunders to advance all the way to the finals with their latest matchup going up against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now it's looking like for the first game of the matchup of the series between the Oklahoma City Thunders and the Timberwolves. It seems to be how can I say this? It seems to be a case of Julius Randle, for the most part, Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards that seem to have been the front runners for the team. Doing the more heavy lifting for the team to get them at least one win, in the series, to pose as a challenge for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Julius Randle in the first game, he played what? He played. Hold on a minute. Julius Randle. So for the first game, Julius Randle played 35 minutes and 40 seconds of the first game, coming in with 28 points, right? He came in with 28 points. His field goal percentage was 69.2, right? 69.2. Three-point percentage was 83.3. So his three-point percentage during the first game skyrocketed his performance, right? At least in my opinion. Skyrocketed his performance during game one, and then he had his field. I think it was. So it was 28 points for Julius Randle, and then he had 0 block attempts or 0 blocks. Period. 1 steal, 3 assists. 1 assist. Excuse me, 1 assist and 8 rebounds for the first game. That's what it looked like for Julius Randle. And then Anthony Edwards, who you would look at as the leader of the team, came in with 18 points for that first game. 18 points, 1 block, 0 steals, 3 assists, and 9 rebounds. So that's 1 rebound more than Julius Randle as a center. And it's like those were the crux, of the amount of points that were made for that team during the first game. And then you had Jaden McDaniels coming in with 7 points. Rudy Gobert with 2 points. Mike Conley along with Jaden McDaniels 7 points. Naz Reid 4, Dante DiVincenzo 9, Nickeil Alexander-Walker 8, and then so on and so forth. So it was not too much. It was not too much intensity that was put forth within the Timberwolves to help them get a good advantage on the OKC Thunders. Their momentum starting off that series with the OKC Thunders was not up to par with the OKC Thunders because they came in with more intensity and more heat, right? You had Jalen Williams coming in with 19 points, right, for the OKC Thunder. Chet Holmgren with 15 points. Isaiah Hardenstein, 12 points. And then you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course, the power horse for the team, coming in with a whopping 31 points. 31 points. So they definitely came in with more pressure. They came in with more heat coming in that first matchup against the Timberwolves on their first series against them. So it set the pace for what the outcome of the series would look like for the OKC Thunders. Now, I don't want to go through with every single game and every single stat for both teams. But, again, it looks to be the case that, OKC Thunders, they came in with intensity. They definitely came in with intensity. They came in with a lot of heat, a lot of pressure, and that ultimately is what got them, the opportunity. And I'm speaking about the OKC Thunders here. This is what ultimately gave them the opportunity to advance ultimately into the NBA Finals. Now, again, I believe it was the second game, or what should I say? Second game or third game? Third game. I think it was the third game. The third game where the Minnesota Timberwolves came in and delivered a sweeping game to have at least one win in the series against the OKC Thunders, and I believe that was at home. A match that they did at home, which ultimately ended up letting the Minnesota Timberwolves defeat the OKC Thunders during that matchup. Now, a lot of people have their speculations about how the game turned out, right? And why they believe the Minnesota Timberwolves beat the OKC Thunders during that one-match win, right? And a lot of I had some takes here from some family members and certain other people as well, speaking in the aspect of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander not getting the calls, to take him to the line to give him his points, because a lot of people made the take that the reason why Shai Gilgeous is performing the way that he's performing is because of the excessive flops or the excessive fouls that he gets, that gets him the easy points in the free throw line to get a win for his team. Now, I don't like to be the one that sounds like a hater, and I don't know if their takes, the people that I'm talking to, I don't know if their takes make them come out as haters, but I would like to say that for me personally, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plays in a different type of way that gets him to get the points that he's getting. I don't think it's him cheating. I don't think it's him getting any how can I say this? Any weird ways of trying to cheat the game to getting the points that he's getting. I don't want to sound like I'm saying any of that. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is working hard to get the points, on the board for himself and for his team to ultimately get the team to win the game. I don't think it has anything to do with him getting any flops, right? I don't think it has anything to do with the refs, cheating for the OKC Thunders, because we always see at times how refs can be when it comes to NBA games and how they can, miss important calls and so on and so forth. But again, I personally don't think that's any of that, for Shai. I think he's been working hard. I think he's been putting the reps in, and I think he's just talented. I'm going to just say it. I think he's talented. He's talented. He's, playing in his craft, balling, putting points up, and ultimately he's the one that's been leading the team the entirety of the season. I'm talking about the entirety of the regular season up until the finals. He is the main reason, at least in my opinion, he is the main reason why the OKC Thunders are sitting in the finals right now. Granted, of course, you have all the other players playing their parts, which is definitely needed. You need Jalen Williams doing his part. You need Alex Caruso doing his part. You need Chet Holmgren, Lou Dort, who else? Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe. You need all these guys doing their parts, which they are doing, which is good, right? That's definitely good. But again, I think Shai right here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is definitely the power horse. He's definitely the crux of why the team is where they are now. I mean, he just won NBA MVP award for the NBA, right? He just won the MVP award for the NBA, and so it's like, come on, you can't all of a sudden try to say, in my opinion, that He's getting those easy flops in to get to the free throw line to make shots for their team. Refs are, they're rigging the game for Shea, whatever the case may be. I don't think that's the case. Me personally, I don't think it's the case. I think it's been a well-deserved milestone for the OKC Thunders to make it to the finals. They've almost made it last year until they lost, I believe. I believe they lost last year to the Denver Nuggets, if I'm not mistaken. Last year, when they were making it close to the NBA Finals, or no, sorry, they didn't lose to the Denver Nuggets. They lost to the Dallas Mavericks. The OKC Thunders last year, trying to go to the finals, they lost to Dallas Mavericks, and this year, they made it. They definitely made it. They made it all the way, and I, for one, personally, I think that they're gonna take it all this year. I think the OKC Thunders will take this year's NBA championship. Now, depending on the team that they will be going up against in the East, whether it's the Indiana Pacers or the New York Knicks, I think that if the OKC Thunder were to go up against the Indiana Pacers, I definitely think that they will have a challenge in their hands. For sure. For sure. I think the Indiana Pacers will pose a big threat because with the Indiana Pacers, they play in a way where it's like the chemistry throughout the team is what's making them, or is what's allowing them to make it this far. I think that's what allowed them to make it this far into the playoffs. The chemistry, right? And I think Tyrese Halliburton is the one that's leading in that with the entire chemistry. Tyrese is very great in playmaking. Granted, his last matchup with the New York Knicks was, pretty bad, right? Pretty bad. But it's the chemistry that Tyrese Halliburton, I think, brings to the team, which allows everybody to play the way that they play in the Pacers. It's the chemistry. And it's not just only with Tyrese Halliburton. It's with everybody, every single person in the Indiana Pacers organization. It's the entire chemistry in the team that has allowed them, again, in my personal opinion, that is what has allowed them to make it this far into the playoffs. And so if they can make it all the way into the finals, I definitely think that they will pose a big threat to OKC Thunders, because I think for the OKC Thunders, I think Shea is the one that sets the pace for the team. And what I mean by that is, if Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is having a good game, then I think everybody in the team will have a good game. But if Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has a bad game, then I think the entire team will also have a bad game. That's what it looks like to me for the OKC Thunders, right? That's what it's looking like to me, because it seems like they're all playing off of Shea's energy, right? Which can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing as well. Because God forbid, let's say Shea gets injured, right? Shea gets injured and he's out for the rest of the season. One, that not only will that be heartbreaking for Shea himself, but it might be a dire situation for the team, considering that he's the one that's putting in most of the points for the team, right? And then again, like I said before, it's him that's coming in with that energy that everybody else is playing off of. As opposed to the Indiana Pacers, everybody's coming in with their individual energy. Now, I might be wrong about the OKC Thunder with my take here. I might be wrong. But it looks to be the case that the Indiana Pacers has everybody coming in with their own kind of energy. Everybody coming in with their own kind of pace. This might not be making sense to you guys. But again, it's the individual energy that's coming from each and every single player in the Indiana Pacers, which has allowed them to make it this far into the playoffs. And so if they continue that momentum tonight as they go up against the New York Knicks and they defeat them, right, then again, them going up against the OKC might pose a challenge, right? Really much so might pose a challenge for the OKC Thunders in winning this year's NBA Finals. Now, I still think that the OKC Thunders will take it this year. I still think that could be the case, right? But if they are to go up against the Indiana Pacers, then it will be challenging for them. But hey, right? You don't make it this far just to make it this far, right? You don't make it this far just to make it this far. It's not going to be easy. This never was going to be easy for any team at all, right? So that's the whole point of this. So, listen, only time will tell. Only time will tell and what the case will be. But we still have to wait for tonight's matchup to see who will be the one to come out on top and who will defeat who to either advance into the final or to carry the game out to game 7. Again, Indiana Pacers only needs one more win. They only need one more win to advance into the finals to go up against OKC. But if they lose against the New York Knicks, then they will have to take the game all the way to game 7, and that will be the final solution as to who will advance. Now, like I always say, only time will tell. But please, 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 let me know in the comments. I'm going live on Facebook. I'm live on Facebook right now, and I am also live on YouTube. Let me know in the comments who you think will be the one to either advance in the East, and who do you think will be the one to win this year's NBA Finals altogether. Please let me know. Don't be afraid to let me know what you guys think in the comments. You guys already know my take on this. I think OKC is going to go all the way with this and ultimately win this year's NBA Finals. But that's just me, all right? That's just me. So that's that so far. Again, tonight's matchup will be Indiana Pacers, who will be going up against the New York Knicks. The series is Indiana Pacers have 3 wins, and the New York Knicks have 2. And tonight's matchup may or may not, end up with the Indiana Pacers advancing into the finals. And then we have another matchup tonight for the WNBA, which will be the Chicago Sky, who will be going up against the Dallas Wings tonight at 8 p.m. That's your matchups for tonight, and I will end off with the Bible verse as per usual. Sorry. All right, so I will give you a Bible verse, and the Bible verse will be coming from Isaiah chapter 40, verses 30 through 31. Again, the Bible verse is coming from Isaiah chapter 40, verses 30 through 31. Isaïe chapitre 40, verset 30 à 31. Isaïe chapitre 40, verset 30 à 31. And the verse reads, Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Excuse me, please allow me to read that for you one more time. And the verse reads, Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. M'bois li verset en créole pour nous. Li dit comme ça. Jean garçon yo kon perdi souffle, yo kon bouquet. Le kon sa yo bite, yo tombe. Mais Seigneur a bay moun qui mette confiance en lui, force encore. Tant qu'on mal fini, y a point zèle pour yo lever à aller. Y a couru sans yo pas jambe bouquet. Y a marché, yo pas jambe faibli. M'bois les versets encore pour nous. Verset li comme ça. Jeune garçon qui a perdu souffle, yo kon bouquet. Le kon sa yo bite, yo tombe. Mais Seigneur bay moun qui mette confiance yo nan li, force encore. Tant qu'on mal fini, y a point zèle pour yo lever à aller. Y a couru sans yo pas jambe bouquet. Y a marché, yo pas jambe faibli. So the verse in itself is is pretty self-explanatory. So again, God is our source of our strength. He is our source of our energy, our strength, our courage, our confidence. And without him, we can't have the strength to do anything. Without him, even young men, right? Even young men can grow tired, right? They can burn out, right? They can lose all of their courage, all of their strength, everything that they had. They can lose all of it, right? Of course, we can understand that the elderly, for the most part, they lack the strength because, again, when you're growing old, there's certain things that your body can't do anymore that it used to do when you were younger, right? But in this case, even young people can lose energy. Even young people can lose strength. Despite them being young, they can have the energy to do things and all that stuff because of their young age, because of their healthy body, right? But again, whether you're young, whether you're old, you can lose all of that strength. You can lose all of that energy. But, however, when you hope on God, when you depend on God, when you lean on God, and you go to him for the source of your strength, for the source of whatever it is that you are lacking, you will receive it. You will gain whatever it is that you are lacking, because God alone is the one that has everything. He's alone that carries everything, and he's alone that can grant you whatever it is that you are lacking, whatever it is that you are missing, whatever it is that you are in need of. God is the one that can supply that for us. He's the one that can supply that for you. And so we must always remember, we must always remember to hope in the Lord, continue to depend on the Lord, and continue to come to the Lord in prayer to receive whatever it is that we are lacking. Ensemble nous comprendre, c'est comme getan li verset, li dit comme ça, ou ka peut-être yon jeune ti moun ou bien yon grand moun, ou ka perdi pouvoir, ou ka perdi la force parce que nous c'est l'homme. Et pas vrai, nous c'est l'homme. Nous ka comprendre là grand moun. Gen de bagay ou te ka fait là te jeune ti moun ou pas ka faire pendant grand moun. Parce que comment pas ka supporter. Mais jeune ti moun yo ka nan même problème nan tout. Malgré c'est un jeune un garçon ou bien c'est jeune fille yo ka toujours perdu force, yo ka toujours perdu pouvoir parce que gen de bagay ou pas ka faire parce que encore comme getan dit comme ça c'est l'homme ouye. So tout ça ou manqué à joindre bon Dieu parce que c'est lui-même qui a supplié nous avec tout ça ou pas gain. Tout ça ou manqué, bon Dieu lui-même li ka borli parce que c'est lui-même qui gagne tout ça nous besoin. Tout ça nous manqué, avec tout ça nous besoin, c'est bon Dieu seul qui a bon nous parce que c'est lui-même qui a offert tout ça pour nous. Right? So, m'encourage pour continuer dépendre de bon Dieu, continuer à joindre bon Dieu pour tout ça au besoin, pour tout ça au manqué parce que pas l'autre monde qui a offert nous ça nous a besoin. Ça nous manquait tout ça nous pas gagné. C'est bon Dieu seul qui a offert nous ça. Pas gain personne monde qui a offert pour nous. Président pas ka offrir ça au manqué. Maman ak papa pas ka offrir ça au manqué. Frère avec sœur pas ka offrir ça au manqué. Tout ça au manqué, tout ça tu as besoin. À joindre bon Dieu dans la prière. Et puis c'est lui-même qui boit tout ça au besoin. Okay? So that's the verse for today. Isaiah chapter 40 verses 30 to 31. Isaïe chapitre 40 verset 30 à 31. Read it meditate on it, apply it in your daily life, and you will see an enormous amount of change and growth in your spiritual journey in life. All right. I love you guys, and again, I will be back here next time around Saturdays. Excuse me, at 10:30 a.m. And as always, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys then.